everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. So it has been about 3 months since I have filmed a video for my booktube channel. So I thought now would be the perfect time to do another installment of books I am currently obsessed with. So these are books that I have given 5 stars with like a couple exceptions, but I still want to talk about those books anyway. But these are books that I have read within the last 3 months that I am just absolutely obsessed with, and I just need you guys to read these books because they are so great in my opinion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this by talking about my favorite book that I have read in 2024. And I'm pretty sure this is like honestly one of my like top 10 books I've ever read. Oh my god, this book was so amazing. That is Emerald Blaze by Ilona Andrews. This is book 5 in their Hidden Legacy series, which is an urban fantasy romance series. You could also think of this as book 2 in like the second trilogy of this series. Basically, the first 3 books followed Nevada and Rogan, and then this trilogy follows Catalina, who is Nevada's sister, and Alessandro, who is her love interest, pictured here. By the way, I am obsessed with the covers for this trilogy. I just think they're so epic and stunning. I am obsessed. I hope that they never redo them, because I know that they've been redoing the covers for the first 3 books, but like these covers are immaculate in my opinion. So like I said, this is book 5. This is a series that takes place in like an alternate universe in Houston. Basically in the 1800s, there was this serum developed called the Osiris serum that gave humans supernatural or magical abilities. And so as time has gone on, like I said, now it's present day, there are these houses that are basically families that have specific magical or supernatural abilities. So we have Catalina, our main character of this part of the story. She is the leader of her house, known as House Baylor. Her ability is crazy. She is known as a siren. Basically, she can make people fall in love with her, but it always goes to the extreme if she's not careful. Like, these people will literally do anything to be close to her. Like when she was an infant in the hospital, a nurse tried to steal her. There were other instances where people just went way too far because they were so obsessed with Catalina, but now that she's older, she's able to control her abilities, and it's just so cool to see. One of the many things that I love about this series, or like this trilogy, is how smart and competent and incredible Catalina is as our main character, as our heroine. I just want to be here when I grow up. She is like a role model. She's amazing. I love her so much. She's truly, honestly, one of my top 5 favorite female main characters that I've ever read. She's incredible. And then we have Alessandro. So in book 1 of this trilogy, which is Sapphire Flames, there's this murder mystery going on. Alessandro has a very interesting connection to said murder. And so basically Catalina and Alessandro have to team up. And in that book, they start falling for each other, but Alessandro breaks her heart. And so then in book 2, we get some good groveling going on from Alessandro, but also Catalina and Alessandro have their own issues as to why they could never be together anyway. And so they're definitely kind of keeping each other at arm's length, but they also can't help but be in love with each other. And so one of the reasons why I love this book so much is that there is this one scene in particular towards the end of the book where Catalina is just incredibly upset over something that has happened earlier in the chapter. And so she texts Alessandro and asks him like where he is and if he can come to her, and he like immediately comes to her aid. And what ensues is literally one of the most beautiful romantic scenes I have ever read. And I am not exaggerating when I say that. That scene in particular made me cry, made me sob so much. I don't know, it's just the way that these 2 characters love each other is absolutely stunning and beautiful, and seeing them finally being so vulnerable with each other too at this point in the book was incredible. And like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it was just truly a top tier scene, but also this book as a whole is incredible. There are some crazy things going on in the non-romance plot. Like, there's this sentient, almost alien being that is like kind of the villain in this installment, and I thought that was so cool, especially the way that that all wrapped up. This book was just truly on another level for this series too, because I've truly been enjoying this series. I've given most of the books 5 stars. There's a novella in this series that I gave 4 stars, but for the most part, I've been loving this series. And so going into this book, I expected to just, you know, really enjoy myself like I did for the previous book. This book just truly hit me like a wall. I did not expect to love this book as much as I did. And I also love Catalina and Alessandro somehow even more than I love Nevada and Rogan, who are the couple from the first 3 books. Like, I don't even know how that's possible because I love them so much, but like, this couple is just truly top tier, truly on another level. I want to talk about Desert Island Duke. This is a historical romance novella that Lisa and I read for our Blushing Blue Stocking Society book club, which is a historical romance book club that we run together. That live show, I believe, was on Lisa's channel. So this is technically book 3.5 in Kate Bateman's Ruthless Rivals series, but you don't absolutely have to read this series in order. You could just read this novella as a standalone for sure. This one just has such a fun premise. So we have Caroline and Max. They end up stranded on a desert island together, and what's really fun about this is that they've known each other all their lives. Max has always teased Caroline because she is the younger sister to his best friend. And so they end up stranded on this desert island. It seems that Max has lost some memories, and so Caroline takes her chance at honestly just like petty revenge against him and convinces him that he is just like a lowly stable boy when in reality he's a duke. And what's also fun is that Max quickly gains his memories back and he realizes that Caroline is tricking him, and it's just so adorable, so fun. The right amount of sexiness as well. I just adore Kate Bateman's historical romances. I love her banter. I think her banter is up there with Tessa Dare. This was just so fun, and having it be a novella was like the perfect length. I think it would have been too long as a full-length novel, so I could not help but give it 5 stars. Now would be the perfect time to read this, by the way, because it is taking place on a tropical island. Next up, I want to get into some books that I own physically. We have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Oh man, y'all. Abby Jimenez has been knocking it out of the ballpark with her recent releases. So the first book that I read by her was Part of Your World, gave that 5 stars. Then last year she released Yours Truly, gave that 5 stars. And then we have Just for the Summer, which is just as amazing as those other 2 books that I mentioned. So this one is about Emma and Justin. They are on like this Reddit thread, and they realize that they are both the type of people that like they date people, and then after they break up with that person, they go on to meet their soulmate. So they both feel cursed in a way that they will never find their own soulmate, and so they end up connecting that way. And they start like fake dating because they think that they can cancel out their curses if they date each other. And so it starts off very lighthearted, very fun for sure, but Emma and Justin both have very big issues going on in their lives, and so things pretty quickly turn serious between the 2 of them, just because of, like I said, outside things going on. And Abby Jimenez truly does an amazing job of balancing the lighthearted elements that happen earlier on with her books with the heavier elements that happen later on. I just truly think that, you know, these 3 books that I've read by her are all just expertly written. This book in particular, I really related to, specifically with Emma's character. I also really related to, I think the character was Brianna, who was the heroine in Yours Truly, but for a different reason. So we find out throughout this book, and especially in Abby Jimenez's Q&A at the back of the book, that Emma has fearful avoidant attachment style, which is a style of like how you attach to people, how you relate to people. And I also have that same attachment style. So first of all, I felt very called out by Abby Jimenez, but because of that also I related to Emma so much. And it's interesting to see like why Emma has this attachment style. Again, Abby Jimenez discusses that a bit like in her author's note as well as throughout the book, and like how that can manifest in people. And yeah, like I just felt very seen but also very called out, and mainly because of like that whole situation. But like I said, there's other things going on in this book. I was crying by the end, just like with yours truly. With yours truly, I remember like bawling my eyes out, and with this one I cried as well. So it definitely really hit me in my feels. I just am obsessed with these books by Abby Jimenez. I definitely want to reread Part of Your World and Yours Truly very soon, now that I'm talking about this one. Also, Justin, the hero in this, oh my god, Abby Jimenez truly writes the most perfect, like, sweet and swoony heroes, you guys. I am obsessed. Justin is so sweet. He's just so endlessly supportive of Emma. I don't know, this is another book that I could just go on and on and on about, but like, please just know that I highly recommend it. Like, please do yourself a favor and read, like I said, Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. Next up, I want to talk about another book that knocked me on my ass. That is Hero by Claire Kent. This is the 4th book in her Kindled series. This is a post-apocalyptic romance series where at the beginning of each book we see how, you know, each set of character reacts to this situation, but basically a meteor hits Earth and that completely messes up the entire ecosystem of the planet. And so now this series specifically takes place in the US, different parts of the US, but it seems like maybe somewhere around Kentucky, Tennessee-ish, for the most part. But we are seeing how civilization has completely shut down and people are just trying to survive. So at the beginning of this story, Esther and Zed, they don't hate each other, but they definitely don't like each other. But it's now a few years after the meteor impact, and we see that Esther and Zed are really all that each other has. They're just surviving together. Zed also has a daughter named Rena, but Rena's mother passed away some years back, so it's just the 3 of them surviving together. And we see that Esther and Zed just have like this growing sexual tension, and they give into it, and then they start falling hard for each other. And there is a scene towards the end of this book where all 3 of them are literally facing life or death. I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to spoil anything, but just know that like the way that Esther and Zed like react to this situation just made me sob. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. I was a wreck reading that part of the story. Claire Kent's books always make me emotional. Like, I definitely cried at least a little bit reading all of her books, but this is the first one that like I said, I was a mess. I was a sobbing mess reading this book. And Claire Kent's books are just beautiful. Her romances are stunning. She does a really good job of writing like the grumpy stoic hero who's secretly very sweet and loving. Yeah, like just absolutely beautiful romances. Next up, we have something quite different. This is My Stalker, My Protector by Jessica Cain. So this is, unfortunately, I mean, devastatingly, this is Jessica Cain's final novella. She has decided to step away from writing basically because people were pirating her books and it was really affecting her. Probably financially, but from what I understand, if your books get pirated, like Amazon punishes the author for that, from what I understand. So there were probably several reasons why she decided to step away from writing. I hope that she comes back because like Jessica Cain is my unhinged romance novella queen. I truly love her so much. Like, I am obsessed. And so this novella was like truly her most unhinged work yet. I love her stalker romances. I know that stalker romances are not for everyone, and I understand that, but like her stalker romances are everything to me. So this one, we have our hero and heroine are in college. I love her new adult romances. I just think that when you put unhinged with new adult characters, you know, 18, 19, 20-year-old characters, it just is a match made in heaven. But the hero is a baseball player at the college that they go to, but he has been stalking the heroine, who is his best friend's sister, for a while now. And so his best friend the heroine's brother, comes to him and asks him to watch over his sister while he's out of town. So the brother is unknowingly asking her stalker to watch over her. And so what ensues is just the most unhinged and entertaining stalker romance ever. And like, man, her books just make me so happy because I am the most entertained when I am reading them. They are just so unhinged, so bonkers, but also really sexy and just fun. So definitely recommend this one. I give so many of her novellas 5 stars, even though, like, let's be fair, this is not high literature, high art by any means, but I just have such a fun time reading them. Next up, we have my one reread for this video. I have to bring up The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shupe. I reread this book for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it was one of the best decisions I've made in a very long time. This is truly one of my top 5, maybe even top 3 favorite historical romances of all time. I love Alice and Kit with my heart and soul. Basic synopsis is that they are at a house party. This takes place in like the 1890s in New York City. And so Alice just desperately wants a husband, but she's very shy. She's very awkward, especially around the opposite sex. So she decides to go to Kit, our hero, who is known as this ladies' man, known as a playboy. And she goes to him to ask if he will give her lessons in like flirting and seduction, things of that nature. And at first he rejects her, but he finds that he just can't say no to Alice. And so they start having these lessons, and this is just such a beautiful yet really fun and really sexy romance. Like, this is just a historical romance that truly has it all, in my opinion. There are lighter moments, there are more emotional moments, and it's just perfect. Yeah, like, this is definitely like one of my top 2 favorite Joanna Shupe books for sure. This one and The Duke Gets Even are like neck and neck for my top favorite of hers, but this, it's just everything. It is everything. If you have not read anything by Joanna Shupe yet, by the way, like, just start with this book. It's perfect. What can I say? So next up, I just have a couple more books to mention. I have been rereading the Harry Potter series. This is my 3rd time reading this series. I actually have most of the books stacked up over there. I'm currently rereading Deathly Hallows. I've been rereading all the books via audio, just listening to them in small installments when like driving to and from work, mowing the lawn, things like that. So it's been taking me quite a few months to get through this reread, but I've also just been enjoying the books so much more in some ways this time around because I'm taking my time with them. I will say that like my opinion has changed on some of the books. Like, Order of the Phoenix at this point is no longer a 5-star read for me. I found that book to be very, very long and frustrating this time around. But yeah, it's just like, it's just been so much fun. So much, just a blast. And it's also fun to reread these books while also reading a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction. I specifically just adore Draco and Hermione fanfics, so it's just fun to reread the source material. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because, like I said, I've been rereading these books for the past few months. I also wanted to mention, a couple of alien romances. So I very recently finally read Choosing Theo by Victoria Aveline. Oh my god, this book, you guys, has been on my TBR for years. Literally years. Like, Ava from Ava's Romance Books, and I think it was like Victoria, I don't know. There's a lot of other booktubers that have recommended this book and this series to me, and I just kept putting it off for no good reason. And so I finally read this first book of the Clocanian series, and oh my god, this was so good. So good. So this is an interesting alien sci-fi romance series that takes place on the planet of Clocania. Basically, we have our heroine, and why can't I remember her name? That is so annoying. That is so annoying. But anyways, she, this book starts out like a lot of alien romance books, I feel like, where the heroine gets kidnapped by these bad aliens, but she ends up on Clocania, and the people of this planet take her in. But the culture of this planet is so interesting. So basically, the women of this planet are like worshipped and celebrated, mainly because women are scarce. They find that for some reason a lot more boys are being born on the planet than girls. And so because women are scarce, they get to choose their husbands in this elaborate like mating ceremony. And so because our heroine now lives on the planet, she is gonna be a part of this ceremony. And so she chooses Theo, who is this guy that he's got a lot of scars, and I think mainly because of that, like all the other women on this planet have, or at least in the area of this planet, have been like put off by him, maybe even a bit disgusted by him, but she just thinks that he's hot. So she chooses him, but he's definitely very grumpy and stoic, and he's very suspicious of her because he's like, why did she choose me? Like, nobody else chooses me, and if they do, it's because they want something from me. So he's very suspicious of her at first, but they fall for each other eventually, and like, this was amazing. I loved this. I love the vibe of this world. It's definitely very unique, and this world just has a very interesting culture to it. I'm very much looking forward to reading more books in the series. I believe there's like 7 or 8 books out at this point. And last but not least, I wanted to quickly mention Ruby Dixon. I am back in my like Ice Planet Barbarians era. I'm also getting to the point where I'm following kind of publication order in terms of like which books and which series of hers that I am reading. So I followed a video that Ava from Ava's Romance Books did. She did a video all about the Ice Planet Barbarians like universe. And then she also did a video all about Ruby Dixon in general, because Ruby Dixon is a very prolific author. She's written a lot of different series. And so that was very helpful to watch those videos because it gave me a really good idea of like what books I should read next, now that I have gotten up to book 15 in her Ice Planet Barbarians series. So I'm very excited to get into the Ice Home series now. And man, these books are just like candy. Like, it's just so much fun to read about these human women living on this ice planet and these hot blue alien dudes that they fall in love with. And most of them are cinnamon roll heroes, like very sweet, and they worship their heroines, and it's just amazing to read. It's just like the perfect little escape. So that is going to be it for this video, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have books that you have been obsessed with lately, please leave a comment down below and let me know, because I always love getting recommendations from you guys. I would also love it if you would leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you so much in advance if you do. And with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!